when the lockdown was implemented last March, so we had no choice but to conduct classes online. It was not very difficult because the LP readied our students to become independent learners. So even before the pandemic, when they were in school, they were used to answering learning activity sheets independently. So when they had to stay at home, it was not big of a challenge or an adjustment to our students.
Once the LAS are returned to us after checking by the principal and the head of the English department, we would convert them to PDF format. We upload them as an assignment to students, and when the students would see that in their list of assignments in Google Classroom, then automatically they would know that it's a concept note that they have to copy. So they would have to take their blank sheets and copy whatever is written.
Of course, sometimes internet connection becomes intermittent, so students are not able to submit. When this happens, we assure our students that they can still submit even though it is already late. So that's the first challenge of doing online classes. The second one is, making sure that students submit their work online. And this is something that we have to do in partnership with the parents. So just in case a student does not submit, we contact the parents to help remind the students the activities that they have missed. In this case, the parents become a facilitator at home, making sure that the students do what they are supposed to do for the day and submit them in Google Classroom.
If you look at their submissions, if we can see that there are missing works, of course, we would reach out to the students by messaging them through Messenger or through Google Hangouts. In my case, I use Messenger for my advisory class. After messaging them for, I think, 1, 2, 3, or 4 times and still we don't get a response, then that's the time when we message the parent. It's either via email or via phone text. Well, when it comes to discussion in classes, what we do is we either upload a video, a pre-recorded video, or we do synchronous sessions in order for us to explain the lessons to the students.
In DLP, there are several constraints to check if students are learning. Number one is by the copying of the concept notes. When we compare it to other learning deliveries, here in DLP, ang bata ang nagsusulat ng activity. So by writing, we can say that students are starting to learn something or understand something. Aside from that, there are questions that they have to answer. And using these questions, the teachers can diagnose if a student is able to understand the lesson clearly or not. So I think it helps because there is an assurance that students are learning even though they are not in the classroom. And that's one of the main takeaways that we have in this program, that learning can continue because students are capable of learning independently, provided that they are given with the right learning activity sheets.
Okay, so for those who are still planning to adopt this dynamic learning program system in their respective schools, I think I can advise you to be open-minded. There's actually a notion that when you ask students to copy notes or copy concept notes on their notebook, basically they think that's passive learning, and they think that it doesn't work because for them, learning really happens when the teacher is discussing and the students are just listening. Okay, or when you are providing activities like group activities and the students learn through the process. But we have to be open-minded in a way that we also consider copying notes as a way of learning, and it is quite efficient. You need to be patient in constructing or writing your concept notes. You have to simplify the information that you want to give your students, that you want them to copy, and you have to be patient in a way that, of course, there will be corrections, okay? Because not everything that you're doing is perfect, and you have to work hand in hand with your coordinator, with your principal, so that at least you'd be able to really give the best for your students. And lastly, I think you really have to love your job.